14, and we're back with a new video. Do a little something different. Today I'm going to talk a little bit of sports, since I can't play them for the time being, and I do watch them. I figured, let's talk a little sports on the channel for a little while. This probably won't be the first, well, the last, excuse me. It's probably the last one that I do, so I'll kind of get into, my background as far as what got me into each sport as I do the video, because I do watch a plethora of sports. This one's going to be about basketball. Kind of give you a little bit background in terms of that. I grew up, I'm an 80s baby, so I grew up in the 80s and 90s, so I caught the end of the Bird, Magic, Kareem era. Saw all of the Jordan era, for the most part, say from 86, 87 on. And, of course, all of this current era as well. And I know there's so much debate going on right now about who's the best or of this generation and whatnot. The usual suspects are brought up, of course, since Kobe's often brought up because he plays on the Lakers and everything like that. And I guess we'll start there. And let me just say this. Actually, I like Kobe. I like his game when it's on. He can be a really fun player to watch. When he's not, it can be very painful basketball to watch. I definitely think, of course, he's an all-time great. There's no doubt about it. What he's accomplished in his career is just phenomenal. From winning gold medals to being on 5 championship teams and all-star selections and just all the accolades. He's definitely one of the most accomplished players of all time. Now, with that being said, I know a lot of people have a tendency to make comparisons, and and it's something that I'm trying to get out of the habit of for a couple different reasons. Let me just say why. I think one, and let me back up a little bit, because I understand why you want to see how does this previous generation, or the current generation rather, stack up against generations past. And in doing that, you're trying to see what has the game progressed. Is this guy better than this guy? So from that standpoint, I do understand. I think it kind of has gone overboard in a sense. Just for example, rather than constantly making the Larry Bird and Dirk comparisons, which I never got, just enjoy Dirk Nowitzki's greatness as you get to watch it. Because the way I look at it, you're kind of, in a way, you're kind of doing the players a disservice. Rather than appreciating the greatness just for what it is, in a sense, sometimes it can get minimized because you're comparing them sometimes against players who they're not even in the same class with. And it can go both ways. So, as a fan of the game, first of all, I'm a Bulls fan, but as a fan of the game overall, I just want to see the best players play at the highest level. Now, getting back to the Kobe thing, the whole Kobe and MJ thing, I really wish it would go away. And I know I'm going to make a lot of the diehard Kobe fans angry, but as far as a comparison, it's really not one. I hate to tell people that, but just watching them, aside from certain stylistic similarities and swagger jacking and everything, outside of that, there's not the comparison in the sense that people try to make. Just everything from the ridiculous ring argument, which, first of all, that's a team accomplishment. So, for instance, Joel Anthony has a ring, Patrick Ewing doesn't. Are you going to say that he's a better center than Patrick Ewing? Absolutely not. So it really is a team accomplishment. And, he has one less than Jordan, which is, first of all, ridiculous. Secondly, the first three, obviously, Shaq was the most dominant force in the league, and he was the number 2 guy. Jordan's never been the second fiddle on any championship team that he's ever played on. I just think when you look at the amount of sustained, efficient, and excellence and dominance that Jordan was able to achieve over his career, outside of him and Kareem, it really just sets them apart from anyone else, And then you do have to look at certain other things. Like I said, I got into the efficiency, the defense, which there was a stretch there in the early 2000s where he was a very good defender, but it's been slipping. I got into the field goal percentage. It's rough, when your main shot taker at best is missing 53% of his shots. That's tough to deal with. I think with the rules changes, the fact that you can't hand check and be as physical from a defensive standpoint and doing things like taking the big man out of the lane has really opened the game up for perimeter players like, the Kobe's, LeBrons, and all of those guys. While they're still great players and fantastic players, I think it's a lot more difficult to score. And anybody who's played street ball or is my age and, grew up playing physical basketball, it's a lot different trying to move and score with that physical resistance and all of the things that went on in the 80s. So it's a lot freer game, and, it's a lot easier to score. But, I just think that those can, and I could go on, but, this is not an attempt to try to bash. When this is just my perspective, just from having watched basketball for 20 years. I think, honestly, a player that I think, despite his greatness, gets severely overlooked is Tim Duncan, Here's a guy who's a top 10 player of all time, arguably the best player of his generation, and he's done it quietly. And the thing about it with Duncan, I think, man, the people call him boring, but if you really look, because he doesn't do tomahawk dunks and all this stuff, but if you really know basketball, Tim Duncan's game is and has been and continues to be an absolute thing of beauty. If I had a son that played basketball and he was a power forward, that would be one of the guys I would show him. I think for what he's done, arguably the greatest power forward ever to lace him up, I think he's definitely the best player of this generation. And when he retires and when Kobe retires, the NBA is definitely going to be at a loss. I don't look forward to seeing either one of those guys go. I know they're at the end of their careers and everything, but, it is what it is right now. I think that the sports fan, today that we kind of need to pay attention to what goes on the court and kind of get away from a lot of the hype that's put out there, because it kind of turns into revisionist history in a sense. If you're older, you can kind of approach it from a different perspective. If you're a younger fan, I definitely encourage you to go back and watch some of these games from years past. And then you'll kind of have a different perspective of where some of the older guys like myself come from. But with that being said, the NBA is still it's still the best basketball in the world. Still love the sport. I just think we as fans, I think a lot of the way that the game is shown, broadcasting and marketing has really done the fan a disservice in terms of actually educating them about the game. And it makes certain, things like where people really think that Dirk Nowitzki's a better player than Larry Bird, or things of that nature. And, if you love the game, watch the game. and study the game and learn it. And then you'll be able to decide for yourself what's good basketball. But I would like to know, what you think. What's your all-time list and what's your criteria and everything. I know I got into it a little bit. But, even if you disagree, like I said, because I know these sports debates can get rather heated. I said over on this page, just keep everything respectful and classy, and we can definitely engage in a fun sports debate. Anyone who gets disrespectful or anything like that, you will be blocked and deleted. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's not what we're gonna do here. But I'd love to know what you think. Just let me know in the comment section. I'm about to get strapped in myself here to watch a little HBCU basketball here. I think it's Howard and Norfolk State that I'm about to watch in a little bit. But looking forward to hearing everyone's comments, their list, and who they like and all that good stuff. So this is your man Air Jordan 14 signing off for this video. Wishing everyone peace, love, and soul.